Rise and grind, viewers. My name is Tetsyumi, and welcome back to part 2 of our last episode where we are taking down the Abominationn. Now, technically, this is episode 33, but I'm not really going to be calling it episode 33 because this is more so just literally a continuation of the last episode. And for that reason, right, like our episode to-do list has not changed at all. We're probably not going to do a wall of appreciation in this video because this is literally just the next part of our last episode. So first off, if you haven't seen the last episode, go ahead and go watch it. But what we are doing for pretty much all this episode, hopefully not all this episode, if it goes well we can do some other stuff, but all we are doing in this episode is continuing to fight the Abominationn, because last episode the Abominationn was kicking our ass. He is turned out to be a very difficult and tricky boss fight. So we have done probably about 70 attempts at him so far. And we've gotten him into the second phase, like, I want to say like 5 or 6 times, but that's okay. Because this episode, I have a plan. We are changing things up. So I am low-key expecting you guys to have watched this episode, like, back-to-back with our part 1 episode for this. But just in case you haven't, what we've been trying to do is obviously take down the Abominationn. But what I'm specifically trying to do is, you guys can see, I'm trying to use the Mage class with the Stardust armor, and we're using our big brain buster here, and like the kaleidoscope, which is why my accessories are a little bit weird. Like you can see, we have on the spider enchantment and like the berserker soul, and the reason for that is the berserker soul gives us auto fire on our kaleidoscope because I don't want carpal tunnel, and the spider enchantment is supposedly supposed to give all of our summon damage the ability to crit. And then that also combines with the Menace and Cosmic Core, which we got from fighting Eridanus, which like gives you super crits that deal 4 times damage. So I thought altogether this would be doing a lot of damage and it'd be like great for us. However, if we actually, you know, take a look at the damage, I'll go ahead and spawn like all my guys in just to make it super fair. 10k damage, not bad. Absolutely not bad. You know what? Like we'll take 10k damage, but also, you know, compare this to just the Godly Big Sting with literally no accessories to help it and no armor even. I mean, like you guys can see here, it's doing about 12k, even like 30k if we get like a crit and like one of the moons to hit it. Like it's, but I was consulting the orb all night last night, and I think I realized something. You know, we can still use the mythical big brain buster. Like we can use our summon weapon and stuff like that, but we really don't need to even have on the Stardust set. In fact, we don't even need to have on the spider enchantment. In fact, we also don't need to have on the berserker soul. And the reason is, if I put on the armor that we made last episode from the Eridanus set, you guys can see if I double tap down, we get this guy. So already, he automatically acts like our Stardust stand would. Like this guy will attack stuff. Like you can see he's doing... What is he doing? There you go. I guess I have to attack first. But you can see he'll like attack things similar to like the Stardust set bonus where we have like the cool guy to protect us. But also, you guys can read down there, when the summon like blessing is active, my summon weapons can crit with the summoner empowerment. So already, like it only happens like what, 1/4 of the time because it has to go through the 3 other classes in Terraria. But already that kind of negates this, because this spider enchantment also sucks because it like caps your crit damage to like 100 of its base damage. I don't know. It's kind of weird. What I'm thinking is we can still have this guy on. Like we can be a summoner still. We can have a bunch of these minions because like we're only actually losing 1 minion. You see my max minions is 7. With the Stardust armor, we'd only have 8 max minions anyway. So we can still like use a summoner class, but then also I can use like the SDMG or something and just get like a little bit of extra damage in there, because now I don't need to use the kaleidoscope and like, you know, focus on hitting it and stuff. I can technically use 2 of the 4 like empowerment bonuses and just get some more empowerment for like the ranger class and the summon class with all this stuff. And that also frees up these 2 accessory slots that we pretty much like had to designate to these things. So overall, I'm thinking this is probably going to be the best way to go. Obviously, I could change my mind like in the middle of fighting. Like we still got to go ahead and test. And here we are in my world where literally everything is destroyed. Like there is no ground down here. There's some platforms, and then like that is it. The world is gone. This is the world I'm thinking I'm going to fight the Abominationn in, similar to how we were doing last episode. I re-upped my Abominationn's curses. I got 100 of these things, and I think what we'll do is I'll fight like maybe 1 or 2 here with you guys, and then I'll probably just spend like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so practicing the boss, you know, try and maybe not attack it even, like just get more of its moves down. Obviously, you know, since yesterday, because I'm recording this like back to back, I did have to go to sleep last night, so it's not like immediately after the last video, you know, but I'm thinking I don't know. I'm pretty confident. I think the first phase, I definitely will have a lot better this time. Just because, like, I had a little bit to, like, ponder it, you know, sit on it a little bit. But I'm thinking it's not going to be too terribly hard. But the second phase, I am really probably not prepared for it all. But honestly, so far, it's going pretty well. Like, I think the scythe phase here, I have pretty good. Dude, this is, like, kind of a really good attempt right now. We're about to get into its second phase. I think it's around, like, 25,000 health. I want to say. I'm not too sure. Oh, you know what? I also forgot to mention what I did. Also, oh, let me go ahead and throw out a heal. Oh my god, dude, this is actually gonna. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. This is. Oh my god. Fuck. I was too busy thinking about the fight. I could not dodge and talk at the same time. But I was gonna say what I also did is I got myself a Colossus Soul, because if this guy hits you with some of his attacks, he inflicts bleed on you. And with the bleed debuff, you actually can't use healing potions. It just won't do anything. So I figured I can put on the Colossus Soul, because this will give me more max health and damage reduction, but also make me immune to most debuffs. So I have this on. I think this will work for me. I could also switch it out for the Force of Spirit, which will revive me if I reach 0 health with like 200 HP. I'm thinking this is probably going to be a bit better for me, just because I really don't want to like have to rely on dying, right? Like I would realistically not like to die in this boss fight. Wow. That was only our second attempt, and we already got it into its second phase. Honestly, I think just sleeping on it really, really helped. Like, its first phase, it was still a little bit tricky, but I am so much more confident doing it than I was last night. Holy shit. That time, I actually got through his, like, first 2 attacks of the second phase. I have never been able to do that before. Yes. Dude, this is great progress. This is easily, by far, the hardest Terraria boss I have ever fought in any regard. And even when I was first starting the game and I fought Moonlord for the first time, even like the Empress of Light, any boss, modded or vanilla, this is the worst. And I mean worst in both that it's hard and it is terrible. I hate it. I don't know if it's poorly designed or not, because it seems cool. The thing with this boss is all of its attack patterns are not randomized, but the attacks themselves are randomized. Like this attack here, like he'll move in random directions, you know, he'll throw his scythes in random directions, but the pattern itself, like him doing this actual attack, is not random. This one I actually really like. This attack is just a good attack. It's choreographed very well. Every few attacks are just, I feel, complete bullshit. And then honestly, like the second phase is actual trash. The second phase is the worst. It doesn't make any sense. Again, like, it's just complete random. It is luck whether you actually physically can dodge attacks or not, because some attacks, like, you legitimately just cannot dodge at all. I'm doing a really bad job dodging here. Usually I do the first phase no hit, but it's just because I'm talking right now. I'm not, like, completely 100% focused, you know what I mean? It's not that I think it's, like, actually impossible, because, yeah, you can do it. Like, I'm sure Yardis could do it. No normal person can do this. This is not... I think, like, there's no good options for weapons. I'm sure it would have helped if I, like, actually played this mod before now, and I'm not doing Masochist mode as, like, my first playthrough of this mod, right? But, like, even still, like, the first phase, this first phase is fucking nothing. That's the problem. It is such a discrepancy between toughness of stages. Like, the first phase, if I can do the first phase of this fight no hit, and the second phase, I can barely get it into, like, its second attack. Like, here, second stage is about to happen. I will show you guys. Like, even this first attack, it's hard. It's hard to dodge for sure, because there's a lot going on screen. Like, you can't really see a lot. It's absolutely possible to dodge this because it's just a pattern. But I'll show you. This attack right here is nearly bullshit. There is no pattern to its attack when it, like, throws out the sights. And then the sights, like, home in on you. And then he goes into this dash attack. And, like, he moves around the arena. I think this attack would have been fine if you, like, look at that. Like, I couldn't fall fast enough because he physically moved the arena every time he dashed. Like, that's bullshit, dude. Like, you can't fall fast enough even if you know what's coming. But then, like, this attack is fine. Like, this attack is great, actually. I really, really like this attack because it's choreographed. Like, it makes sense. Even this attack is great because once you know what to do, it's easy. It's choreographed again. There's just, like, every few attacks he does is complete bullshit. And it's like, it's not consistent. I think that's maybe the worst part. It's just really not consistent at all. That attack was changed. That attack was changed. I'm not sure when, like a few updates ago, because it used to not be as bullshit. I saw some recordings of people doing this fight. The scythes used to just go out and come back in, and they never used to like home in on your character so intensely. I'm really at the end of my rope. I don't know what the fuck to do. I genuinely don't think I can beat this boss. For some context, it's been 3 hours since I first started fighting this boss today. I guess today as in like part 2 of this episode, not part 1. And you can see I've done 54 attempts. I don't know if you guys think that's a lot or a little bit. In the grand scheme of things, this is like nothing. Like, I think in total, this is probably 100 attempts combined with like part 1 of this video. I mean, like, is this a boss where I actually genuinely have to put in 300 attempts? I awoken it by accident. I want to try something. I'm not going to continue doing this. I just want to see as an experiment. You guys see here, masochist mode is enabled. However, we can change the difficulty. I want to see if just turning it into eternity mode, I want to see what that does. I don't believe any of these accessories. It looks like this accessory slot. Okay, well, you know what? It's fine. I'll turn off this item. Who cares? I'll take that whole item off. I'm not doing this for min-max purposes. I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. I want to know how much easier this boss is in eternity mode. Because is it just a master mode thing? Or masochist mode? Not master mode. Like, is that why it's so... Already, actually, this seems like... Holy shit, this seems like the easiest boss in the world. Okay, this actually just gave crazy context to a lot of things. So apparently, the way these attacks look mean that every single YouTube video I've seen of people fighting this boss, they were fighting it in... What mode is this? Eternity mode, and not masochist mode. So every thumbnail and every YouTuber was lying to me, because if they were fighting it in whatever masochist mode, these attacks would look like they looked for my other attempts. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. We're already in phase 2. I actually could have beaten that boss so incredibly easy. I really don't know what to do. Guys, I really don't know what to do. I cannot do this. I cannot do it in masochist mode. Is it a me thing? Like, you can tell me in the comments, is this a skill issue, or has Fargo soul mod just been updated to the point where, like, this is physically impossible? Because I know there have been people in my comments who have said that they've beat this boss. Granted, it took them a lot of tries, but, like, they beat this boss. But, like, there has been so many Fargo soul mod updates that have changed crucial aspects of this fight and, like, of the game. Such as, again, like I keep mentioning, the weapons. Like, the go-to weapon in this fight, from what I've seen online, used to be the Leash of Cthulhu. That weapon is dog shit now. It is not viable whatsoever. It does not do the same amount of damage it used to do. Fuck it, dude. Maybe I just needed to rant a little bit. I mean, what else can I do? I gotta get this episode out. I'm gonna put in 68 more attempts. And if by the end of all of these attempts, we're still not, like, anywhere close to the finish line, then I think genuinely I might just call it. But either way, I'm gonna stop being such a bitch. Let's get into it. No! Okay? No! No more being a bitch. No more, oh yeah, this boss is too hard. Its attacks are bullshit. Guess what? I don't know. I hit my desk and my character jumped. That's awesome. If this boss is too hard, then get harder. Pause! I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this. We have one more day to beat this boss. It is the next day. I'm back. I'm rejuvenated. I'm energized. I'm beating this boss. This is also the last day I can beat this boss, because tomorrow I need to upload this video. So we're in a time crunch situation. I've been doing some research. You know, last night when I stopped recording, I was like, nah, dude, it cannot end like this. I'm not giving up to a boss that's too hard. I play Elden Ring. I play Dark Souls. Like, this should be easy pansy baby nothing for me. Like, the Millennia boss fight was easier than this boss is so far. So, since it is the next day, a few of my comments have started rolling in from my last video I uploaded, our part 1 of this video, and you guys have been very helpful suggesting me tips and tricks and stuff I can do to hopefully beat this boss. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of them. So first off, you guys have been suggesting some souls. I see that the main souls you guys are suggesting is the Force of the Cosmos, which we do already have on. The Force of Will, which actually, if I go ahead and look it up here, we don't even have this one However, low-key, I don't really think this one's going to be very helpful. Like, you guys can read what it does here. It doesn't really do anything too crazy apart from its, like, ability where you encase yourself in a golden gel and you will not be able to move or attack, but you will be immune to all damage. Now, that sounds pretty good. However, I think overall, it's not really any better than everything else I have on here. And also, again, with the Force of the Cosmos, I can freeze time, which already makes me immune to all damage for like a few seconds. So I'm thinking probably not going to do the Force of Will. Also, you guys let me know that Fargo Soul Mod actually does have like a built-in auto-fire system. So remember when I was bitching about the Kaleidoscope not being auto-fire and I don't want to get carpal tunnel? Well, apparently if I press settings, yeah, down here, the last option here is I can toggle on auto-fire. And now look at that, the Kaleidoscope would work as usual. Now, I'm probably still not going to use the Kaleidoscope. I probably am still going to stick with, like, the nasty SDMG, but just also use, like, my summons here. But I don't know, that could be something we also try out. And finally, I was recommended, in place of using the Force of Spirit, which if you guys don't remember, this, like, gives me a revive once I reach 0 HP. In place of using this, I was recommended to use, I think, the Spectre enchantment, because the Spectre enchantment also gives me a revive. Granted, it's with 100 less HP, but, like, regardless, it doesn't really matter. But what this also does is it turns you into a ghost when you revive, and you have infinite wing time, but you can attack for 5 seconds, which, that's fine. But also, you will spawn a few sprites on every hit, and if I collect the sprites, they'll heal for 20 HP, and then, like, send it back towards the attacker dealing magic damage, which that sounds very interesting, because if I have on, I think it's this thing, the Force of Terra, this Force of Terra enchantment increases item grab range, and also, when I pick up an item or a regular pickup, it increases damage reduction by 20% for 5 seconds. So if I combine that enchantment with the Spectre enchantment like Spirits, that might work out really well for me. And finally, there is one more thing I found, which is a Fargo Soul Mod Eternity Mode guide made by, I believe, some members of the community and some developers of the Fargo Soul Mod. Now, obviously, as it says right here, this guide is outdated, so take with some grains of salt. If I'm being honest, genuinely, everything I find online about the Fargo Soul Mod is always outdated because they update this mod so goddamn much, which is a good and a bad thing, obviously. But if I scroll down here to the Abominationn, right, you guys can see right here, they actually recommend Gaia armor over Eridanus armor for your first run. I'm not really sure why exactly they recommend Gaia armor instead, because Gaia armor, if you guys don't remember, is like I think that's like the first armor you make when you get into hard mode. I could be wrong, but it's a way earlier armor than what we have now. So I think we should probably take a look at this armor and see what's up with it. And yes, I read through all these other tips. They're pretty much just things we've already been doing, or they're also outdated. And here it is. We actually already had all 3 pieces of this armor. However, I was wrong. It's not something you make when you enter hard mode. It's something you make after you beat the Lunatic Cultist because you need the Ancient Manipulator. But we already had all 3 pieces of it. So if we just put this on, I mean, does it look like our defense went lower by 20 points, but maybe is like the set bonus better or something? Let's read it. 10% increased melee speed, reduces mana usage by 10% and increases maximum mana, 10% chance not to consume ammo, increases max number of minions by 4, double tap down to toggle offensive mode, which has the following effects: 30% increased damage and 15% increased critical strike chance from your current weapon class, and increases armor penetration by 20, but reduces defense by 20, max life by 10, and damage reduction by 15. Is that better? Like, genuinely, is that better? You know what? I can actually go ahead and compare the stats. First off, I want to see my damage reduction. I think that's maybe the most important thing. So you guys can see here, 55% just with the normal armor. And then it goes down to 20%, like, with the offensive mode toggled on. With this thing, my damage reduction is 35%. But when I toggle on the Eridanus guy, it's still 35%. So you know what? 20%'s not really that much lower. I mean, you know what? I'm willing to give it a try. Like, it probably isn't going to be any worse for me. So, like, I'll keep it on. And I also do want to put the Spectre enchantment on for something. However, I'm really not sure what I want to put it on for. It looks like out of all of these, probably the least beneficial equipment I have on is the Force of Nature, which, again, is just this big umbrella, which is super helpful. But I'm okay with losing the, like, umbrella in favor of trying this thing out. So, I guess with this being done, we can go into some more attempts, and we'll see if, I don't know, maybe things change. But we are actually not done, because as you guys can see from my inventory, I was also recommended basically, like, actually make an arena and put down some heart statues, which I usually don't like to do, just in Terraria in general, because heart statues, I feel, are a little bit cheap, But so is this entire mod. So you know what? I gotta fight fire with fire. I'm fine with being cheap. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some of these insta bridges and just make like a giant platform along the entire world. And then we will also just put down a bunch of heart statues. So I'll probably do it 35 blocks like this. And we'll just kind of keep going up like this. Oh my God. That took a long time. But I finally did it. I know it's gonna be really hard to see. Just look at the top row. I have heart statues from... I think about right here, which is like, it's probably, in total, I think I probably did like half the world. Heart crystals there, I had 3 rows, like skipping 2 every time. So I got 1 down there, 1 in the middle, 1 up here, all the way into over here, all the way to over here. So about, I know it's going to be really hard to see, from like right here to like right here. So actually probably maybe a little more than half the world, but I got myself, you know, a little 1-second timer set up, and I'm just going to go ahead and run the final bit of wire down here into this track, and then again we'll run the last bit of wire up here into this one, and there we go. So now I believe, as long as there's no like size limit on the wires or heart statues, which I don't know if there actually is, as long as I press this button, there we go, we're producing hearts. I'm gonna go ahead and fly all the way over to like these very far ones and just make sure we're actually getting hearts all the way over here. But look at that, I mean, it's already starting to work. Interesting. Okay, so that one, it looks like didn't work. And this is the last one coming up over here. This one, it looks like did not work either. Interesting. Okay. This one is not producing. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like it stops about here. Which is really actually not much space at all. Do I just need another timer? Or like, is there just like too many heart statues on the map? I should have maybe done like a little bit of research before going into this, but honestly, it's fine. Even just this little amount of hearts will probably help. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess go back to my other world, clear my inventory a little bit. And let's go ahead and just once again, start getting some attempts in. You know, again, we got to get through 67 attempts before I'm allowed to bitch again. Not bad at all. So the only thing, there's only 2 things I really want to mention. First thing is that I was under the impression that like the Abominationn would disable platforms, but no, apparently I actually can walk on all these platforms, which honestly I thought would make dodging really annoying and hard. It didn't really seem to affect dodging that much. In fact, for some of the sections, it actually seemed to make it a little bit easier, which I think I'm very happy about. And the second thing is the Spectre enchantment is a little bit different to how I originally interpreted it. So you guys can see there, you will spawn a few spirits on every hit. I was under the impression that when I hit the enemy, it would spawn those spirits. But no, it's actually when I get hit, it spawns those spirits, which is, if I'm being honest, definitely a lot less helpful because like it's pretty much like a 2-hit scenario in this boss. If I get hit once and then a second time, I am dead. However, you know, those can be helpful. But the thing that really makes this accessory very good that I didn't think was going to like be as big of a deal is that when I die, I turn into a ghost and I am immune to attacks for 5 seconds. I thought that was just going to be like kind of a gimmick thing that's not really going to affect me that much, but that was so crazy helpful because it basically let me dodge so much easier after I actually revived. I mean, that's just so helpful. That is so helpful. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, picking up hearts, I think will also help trigger the set bonus of this, where like you get damage reduction for 5 seconds by 20%. I think picking up a heart will trigger that, right? Either way, I think we got some pretty good attempts in our future. Let's keep it going. That was actually a really good one. That is the best I've ever done. I can actually hear my heart beating in my chest. We got the boss down half of its health. That is amazing. Honestly, I think I can do this. I think it is possible I can do this. Obviously, I just need a lot more practice. Like I said, I'm not going to start bitching again or complaining until we get all done of these attempts here. Fingers crossed, I might be able to do it before we actually get done with all these 57 attempts. Also, what I did is I did listen to my viewer. I got this thing, which if you guys don't know, this is the Warding Force of Will. This is like golden shell thing that my viewer was talking about and I talked about earlier. This is like insane. This is insanely good. It lasts for, I think, 10 seconds. And then after it, you get like a few seconds of invincibility so you can dodge attacks really easily. So not only do we have that, we have our freeze time thing. And then we also have our revive here with the Spectre enchantment. And my plan is, after I revive with the Spectre enchantment, it's pretty much cooked. Like, we don't really need to use it again after we revive. So I'm probably going to have to switch to my Force of Nature afterwards. But that should just be good for us. But the reason I died last attempt is because I had a lot of those things available, but I didn't use them in time. So I just got to remember to use them and hopefully get them on, like, a good rotation so I can use one and then the other for, like, the harder stages where I'm really bad at dodging. If you could see my hands or hear my chest right now, oh my god! Oh my god! I mean, for all intents and purposes, we literally beat the boss. That was the final phase where, like, you just need to dodge, and if you, like, get through all of its attacks, then you win. We were right there. We were right there. I was, like, literally so nervous that I could not press, like, this button to go into this, like, shell mode. I was so close. Oh my god, we are so close. Ah! Oh my god, we got this. We got this. We fucking got this. I really want to give it more attempts. However, I am being summoned to go play Fortnite. So, we're going to call it here for now. Obviously, this is not the end of the episode or anything. I'm just saying I'm going to go take a short break. And honestly, maybe even this short break will, like, help me, like, I don't know, digest the fight more so I can actually dodge better. Who knows? I don't know, but I will be back. I am back. We only played Fortnite for, like, 15 minutes, so, like, that wasn't much of a break at all. But honestly, it's fine. Let's finish it out. I'm finally allowed to bitch again? Fuck this boss! Oh. Oh. Yes! 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 Fuck this boss! G fucking G. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me collect this fucking treasure bag. Holy shit. Is there anything else I need to collect? Oh my god. Oh my god. I think I need a minute, but like, dude, oh my god. I am so happy we did that. Here's the thing. Fuck that boss. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna say I'm crazy. It really wasn't that bad. It was just tedious. Tedious and annoying. I don't know, is that fair to say? Like, I don't know if I should like the boss or like hate its guts, but like, it was cool. It had really, really cool attacks. They just, like, some of them just were not telegraphed well enough, so like, you had to give it like 50 attempts to understand what the attack even was. Speaking of which, is the boss log actually correct? Like, can we see how much attempts we put into it? 139? Oh, I think 139 for just this like one batch, right? I'm pretty sure. I think that's how this works. So like 9 hits in the last attempt. My god, I have to say though, MVP was the fucking whatever this is. MVP is the golden shell. Unbelievable MVP. Let's go ahead and turn on the music also. I completely forgot to do that. I was a hater. Not a hater, but like, I was a doubter. I completely doubted the golden shell's abilities, and that is probably the single thing that let me actually win the fight. This, and obviously also our stop time, and I have attached here the graze bomb. If you like graze enough attacks, it's the ability from like the menacing heart of the master. If you graze enough attacks, I have it set so I can press E, and that'll like freeze the enemies on screen and delete all the projectiles on screen. Those things were so goddamn helpful. I actually cannot stress enough. I want to let you guys know, this is a cool banner. I've never seen this banner before. Wow. Oh, it's the pinky banner. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I started fighting the Abominationn at 5:46 p.m. You guys want to guess what time it is right now? Granted, in the middle of this, I had like that, 15-minute Fortnite break, and then I ate dinner for like maybe 20 minutes. But then, until now, I have been fighting the Abominationn. It is 12:48. 7 hours of me fighting this abomination of a boss that, like, low-key, I can't help but respect. On God, you guys saw how I absolutely tweaked out while fighting this boss. Like, multiple times, I was tweaking out, and I gotta respect it. I respect the hell out of the Abominationn, and you know what? One day, I know it's anticlimactic, I don't have either of these checked off on this world. I will do that before the series is over. Low-key, I'm thinking one of these days, not any day soon probably, or maybe, who knows. I want to come back to Fargo's Soul Mod, and I want to no-hit the Abominationn. I think that's possible. Honestly, I think I can do it. I just gotta lock in. With that being said, I'm done with this boss for a long-ass time. I ain't doing that anytime soon. Hell no. But gamers, we did it! Let's go! What did we get from this boss? First off, we got the Abominationn relic. I actually high-key want to display this somewhere. Maybe I'll just put this like right there for now. Pumpkin-faced Fedora Man. Thank God I beat you. Like, oh my goodness. The Lucky Abominable Wand grants immunity to Abominable Fang and Abominable Presence. Increased damage gained per Sparking Adoration Graze. Ooh, because is the Sparking Adoration, is that this thing? Or is this something else? Not too sure. And halves heart cooldown. 20% increased Graze bonus damage cap. Spectral Abominationn periodically manifests to support your critical hits. What? With Stykes armor? I don't know what armor that is. Charges energy when grazing. You can endure any attack and survive with 1 life. Endurance recovers when you reach full life again. Seems like something's missing. This sounds otherworldly. This sounds amazing. I am 100% probably going to put that on. And I wonder, is Styx armor now something we can make maybe, you know, from some stuff we get in the treasure bag? Who knows? But with that being said, we got to open up the treasure bag. 3, 2, 1. Bam! Oh, that was really anticlimactic. All we got is 35 abominable energy. Is 35 even enough to, like, make a bunch of stuff? Also, like, yeah, this is welcome to the end game. Now we can make a whole hell of a lot of stuff. So, okay, this is the Styx armor, but there's also the mutant armor. Okay, you know what? It looks like the mutant armor we can't make because we need the eternal energy, and that is actually a drop from the mutant, which, you know, last boss in the game. So it looks like the next armor set we can make is the Styx armor, which, that sounds cool. But gamers, with that being done, that is going to be all for me for this episode today. The 2-part episode of me getting my ass absolutely walloped by the Abomination has finally concluded because we have, in fact, walloped the Abomination's ass instead. Thank you all so very, very much for watching. I really, really genuinely appreciate all the tips and feedback in the comments. Keep it coming. You know, if you guys have played the mod before, if you have any tips for, like, the mutant or, like, maybe any of these overloaded bosses that we're probably going to get up to fighting in the next episode, go ahead and leave some tips down. I appreciate you all so, so much. Thank you. And with that being said, that is going to be all from me. Like, subscribe, favorite, comment, favorite. Wow, favoriting has not been a thing in YouTube for a long time. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you gamers in the next video. Peace.